Welcome back to Recoup. Today is Wednesday, January 7th, 2025. I'm sorry, 2026. I'm Sweets. This is Sid. This is our Wednesday check-in where we talk about what we've been delivering and what we're going to be working on the rest of the week. You want to kick it off, Sid?
Yeah, this week worked on transcribe audio. I personally I've been building like a Gatsby Grace. We're launching Gatsby Grace IP project AI artist, and we're in like the early stages of the rollout, and I'm just gathering a like home base for her. I needed all of the lyrics. I had some of them from like when you generate in Suno, it gives you lyrics, but I didn't copy paste all of them, and like then ended up generating 100 other songs. So like to go find the lyrics and which ones are which, it was it was just a hassle. So I wanted to find an easy way to give an MP3 uh, to the system, and it outputs me the lyrics of the song. And instead of going to like find it and buy it, I was just like, let's just build this and see if we can make it real quick. Um, it was funny. Like the API version of it was great. It got me exactly what I needed. Where I started to struggle was like, now let's build it into the chat, and not like the separate repos is what I have to figure out now and like learn how to navigate. But anyways, it was a good. It got what I needed. It sped up it saved me. It's going to save me a lot of time. Every time we have new songs, we can just get the lyrics automatically almost. And it'll also work awesome for catalog uh, as well, which is cool. Give me 2 seconds. Alessa's calling. I want to make sure everything's okay before I finish. Sorry. She's out with Story. I want to just make sure there's not an emergency. All right, if she calls back, we'll see. All right, so that was the transcribe audio. And then other than that, I've just been hitting up customers, all the ones that we've left off in December, restarting those conversations. I have a call with Alexis today to kick off Gatsby when it comes to like the space heater distribution side of things and how we're going to roll that out. It's going to be a great kind of, it will directly put us like front and center of like new artist, new rollout. Here's what we do. Here's the stack. And then we can figure out how to maneuver from there. Yeah, those are my big updates. How about you?
The biggest pushback I have on your pull request is you modifying the system prompt for a tool. System prompt is the core identity that we're giving to an assistant. In my opinion, it should not have any knowledge of the tools that it has access to. It should be the persona. When a carpenter wakes up in the morning, he doesn't say in his identity, in his core identity of himself, I use a hammer in this circumstance. Whenever he needs to use his tools, he'll then review, okay, there's a hammer here. Let me review how to use a hammer. But a carpenter does not wake up in the morning and say, I am a carpenter, I earn money, and I use a hammer in these circumstances like that.
Have you read the ChatGPT system prompt or like Perplexity or like all of those system prompts?
Mm-mm.
Like they all have a tool section and they list the tools. FYI.
Is it 15 plus lines for a single tool?
Yeah, it's like they have like a web search, like the ChatGPT web search. It's like a paragraph long of like
Can you
when
share the reference you're talking about?
Yeah, I have it. Let me see. I mean, even just ask ChatGPT like what is your system prompt? What is I mean, if you can get past it, but let me see if I have the repo in front of me. Well, you can continue, and I'll pull this up before we leave. Open. Right, can you see? So I have this repo, which is system prompts and models of AI
Yes.
tools. And then we can go to, where's ChatGPT? Let's just go to, here, let me just search.
Does Claude Code reference their tools?
I'm going to have to go through and see. Here we go, use. So this is Claude Sonnet. Use all the tools available. Like this is like the section, search tools like code base search agent to understand the code base and use the query. So like if they have sections to explain some of the tools.
And that number 4 makes sense. It's something you want to do every single time. Are we doing transcription every single time someone prompts us? Like, yes, you should understand the code base before applying in Claude Code or in Claude Sonnet. You added a transcribe tool into our system prompt. What percentage of customer prompts are going to actually need that tool?
All right, understood.
That's being added to the system prompt.
Understood.
Adding context to every single query that only applies to probably less than 1% of customer prompts.
All right, I like it. I agree. I appreciate the pushback. I'll take it out. I'll try to get it to a point where it is as effective without changing the system prompt.
To me, this is a symptom that browser tools you also implemented that is still not built correctly. Browser tools is one of the reasons that we haven't moved the full chat API over to the API. It has blocked us from using evals directly inside of our GitHub pull requests. It gets called when we don't want it to get called. I think updating the system prompt because browser tools are getting called is a sign that browser tools needs updated. And that, in my opinion, is a better foundational, more principled update than updating the system prompt to try to jimmy rig it so that browser tools doesn't get called in one specific context.
Well, I mean, I feel like what you're saying is really interesting because we haven't updated the system. We haven't gone over the system prompt in a long time, and I probably have done more versions of this where like when implementing browser tools probably added some stuff to the system prompt. So I'm going to check out the system prompt and kind of think through the principles that you just mentioned and see if we can remove stuff from the system prompt that's unnecessary when it comes to tool calls and stuff like that. Because yeah, I see what you're saying and I agree.
So far, the only other thing I'm seeing in the system prompt is image editing, which I believe you also added when you were doing your Nano Banana stuff. I also recommend that this gets removed. I don't see anything about browser tools, but if you do, I agree that would also get removed. Moving forward, I highly recommend do not put any specific tool calls in the system prompt unless it needs to happen every single time someone prompts us, similar to Claude Code needing to read the code base to understand the code base prior to responding.
Okay.
On my side, we now have we've removed the duplicate replies. Hi@recoupable.com does not reply. We have updated the logic for CCing and to for when it replies, and we've updated the tools. So how it looks in practice. Actually, would you mind sharing and demoing email sending so that I can see how it looks on your side?
Yeah. All right. What would you like me to do?
Can you start in the Recoup chat on the web and have it use the send email tool for whatever, for anything? try it again.
Oh, let me see what that was.
Auth token expired.
There we go. Bam.
Longer using hi at recoupable.com. Now we're using agent at recoupable.com. Can you reply to that email? And if you want, also test your CC logic or.
Yeah. How the fuck do I? There we go. Do you want me to? Do I need to tag Recoup, or are we just reply?
If you do as you would expect, let
Okay.
let your native intuition guide it. What do you expect to happen with that email?
I expect the agent to reply again. Same agent reply again with what I asked.
Things I am now wanting to update are the email tool. When it sends the email, you don't get the footer that says you can reply to this email. Here's the conversation and go view it. So I want to update it so that when this email tool fires, it is linking the message to the chat the same way as the direct email client is. That way, this start to your email thread is tracked.
Agreed.
The other thing,
yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
The other thing I want is outbound emails should come from agent by recoupable from agent at recoupable.com instead of agent at mail.recoupable.com. So that should be a relatively simple change. You still haven't gotten anything?
Not yet, but it took a second because I think like the program takes an extra 20 or 30 seconds to send the email so that I can undo it.
I'm checking out resend. Just now.
I got it. Oh, no, I didn't.
Okay.
Never mind.
Yeah,
No.
it looks like it should be coming to you.
No, it did. Yeah, I got it. It just moved it to important, which is funny. That's interesting. It like moved. Oh, because it's coming from a different address. That's interesting.
Is it still in the thread or is it not? Yeah, it's still in the thread.
It's still in the thread, but it's coming. Like it was in other, FYI, and then it moved it to important. I don't know like why it refiltered it. That might be just my client.
So this is exactly what I just said. Because the first one came from a tool and it's not associated in the email thread, when you send the follow-up email, click on that conversation link down at the bottom. You'll notice that the context that it has only starts with your prompt.
Oh, got it. Because it's not pulling.
It doesn't have that first paragraph nor your original prompt to trigger the email. So that's what I want to be working on now, is making the handoff easier from the web client over to email, and so that way your prompt would have worked.
Yeah, and I really like this too. This is a great idea. So like, yeah, even when it's coming from just send message from the chat, or it's a scheduled task, it's not necessarily somebody replying. It still has this message. So they know that they can do it. That's cool.
So I'll take over sharing and go back to the original feedback that you had given. So your feedback so far is, I replied to hi, I CC'd other humans. I received a confirmation email from Hi, which requested things out of scope. That should be fixed. We didn't test that just now, but if
That is fixed. I tested it.
remove the comment. Okay, so this one's been fixed. I'll put a ta-da. Current, I replied to Hi saying deeper scan, only received verification. This one should also be fixed.
Correct.
We didn't list any of the other things that you said, so could you review again? And if what is the MIQ is what other changes do we need to make before announcing this to our enterprise customers and then doing a broader rollout publicly?
So my question is, I send an email to agent@recoupable.com.
Yep.
I get back an email from agents@mail.recoupable.com.
Try it again. It should be agent@mail.recoupable.com.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, agent@mail. But anyways, is there a way to get it to send back from the same email that I sent it to? Not a huge thing, but it could be confusing to customers who are unsure of like why there's why is it coming from a different address? And like I can imagine IT teams or customer IT teams are like, don't accept things from emails that you don't know, etc. And like if they're sending it to one address and it's coming, like they might interpret it as it being like a spam thing or something.
Yes, the first task I'll work on next is outbound emails will go from agent@recoupable.com instead of agent@mail.recoupable.com.
Okay, got it. Cool. Oh, you already have it. Perfect.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay, so yeah, those are the two main things, I think. Yeah, and then all those other emails will be, or any email sent will be associated to a chat.
That's already live. Unless you're talking about coming from web.
From web, yeah, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Question about that, like walk me through, like you're saying just associate any chat, any email, because I'm thinking of like, let's say I have like a long chat in the web app, 50 messages, whatever. I don't know, 100, whatever. And then at the end of it, I say, summarize all this and send it as an email.
Yep.
And then we send that as an email. And then you're saying that then that email will be associated with that chat. And then we can continue that same thread in email.
Correct.
Got it. Now, another question I have. Let's say I say, now turn this into a task that runs every day. And then the next day,
in the web or in email?
In web.
Okay.
Or in chat, or in either one. Let's say in
yeah, you're right. It should make a difference. Keep going.
Yeah, in web. That task runs, and that's when that task runs. Does it start a new chat right now in web? It doesn't, right? Like we can't see that task.
Sure.
Because I'm just thinking of like the format that you're doing is amazing because you can go back, like you can use web to go back into chats. So I'm just curious of what would happen if a scheduled task is running, and one of the scheduled tasks is part of the scheduled task is send me an email. So I would test that basically to like scheduled task sends an email. Where does that conversation live? The conversation thread live? I cannot hear you.
I do not see inside of scheduled actions table in Supabase. I do not see a conversation ID, which tells me that each time it's going to create a new conversation each time the task runs.
It's okay if it creates a new conversation each time the task runs. Just where is that conversation? Can the user get back to it? Does that matter? Like, would that conversation be saved? If a user responds to an email from a scheduled task, what context does that email get? Does it have the original prompt from the scheduled task? I can try it. I can do a web, we can test it right now.
Yeah, it'd be good if you can test it and let me know how it's failing. I'll take a look at it. But if you have specific feedback on where it doesn't work, that will be very helpful for me to measure success on changes I make.
All right. Do you want me to do it now, or do you want me to do it on my own?
Go ahead and do it now.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and do it now.
The hard part is going to be getting this correct with the time change.
Once you have the task, I can manually trigger it in trigger.dev.
Okay, perfect. All right.
If you already have a task that runs, we can just go straight to trigger.dev and run it.
Yeah. Let's just do that then. Let me see.
Find any of your tasks that are sending an HTML email.
Uh,
Copy the ID.
Send you the task ID.
And now open up a new tab and go to docs.recoupable.com. Get started. There should be a tasks section. Get task. Yep. And then take that endpoint, throw it into a new tab.
Okay.
That'll include get, so you want to delete the get. And then you want to add question mark ID with the ID of your. You want to add question mark ID with the ID of your task that you copied. ID equals.
Question mark ID equals.
Correct. Pretty print. Take the sched trigger. Oh, you don't have a trigger schedule ID. Is that task paused?
Oh, let me see. Oh, yeah, but let me unpause it then.
Okay, refresh that API page. Pretty print. There's your schedule ID. Take that schedule ID.
Where?
Trigger schedule ID.
Oh, here we go.
Go to trigger.dev. Schedules. Change development to production. Paste the schedule in the search. You're in development still. There's your trigger. Click on it. Click on it again. There you go. Do you have a... I guess go to runs. I might be doing this incorrectly. Yeah, go to runs. And I'm sorry, go to tasks. And the task we want is customer prompt task. Go back. Instead of clicking on the task, go into tasks. Instead of clicking on the task, go to the right, you see the test button. And you need an external ID, which is the ID from your task. So on the Recoup page, the ID from over there. The task.
Where am I? Here we are.
External ID. Okay, and run it down to the bottom. What do you expect to happen?
I get an email. Let me see what this prompt is and see if it's long. Oh, yeah, it's going to take a minute. I should have done a simpler one.
You can do another one.
Yeah, let me just... So I really just need this, and I need to go to trigger.dev.
Correct.
And I need to go here.
Tasks on the left.
and then test, and then throw that here.
Correct.
And this runs it. All right, cool. That's great to know. And then I should get an email real quick. Yeah, all right, cool. So we got that. Great. And now this came from agent at Recoupable. Great. Now let's go like this. Come on, man. Where's my shit? Here we go. What was your tell me the entire conversation. Is this a good prompt to check to see if it has the original?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Because this is the same situation of like user gets an email, but it's from tasks instead of from web.
Yep.
They're replying, and let's see if it has the context. Because this is what you're fixing today in web, so we might want to also fix it in tasks as well.
It should be the same in this case, because in both cases it's calling the send email tool from our backend MCP API. So if we update the send email tool to include that info, whether it's coming from the web interface or from a task, they're both calling the same tool, which will include that new information.
Oh, okay, cool.
But I will test both of the paths to validate that what I say is correct.
Because I guess like the missing piece that I'm thinking through is like when I get a task, it like this task doesn't show up on my recent like that. Like you see what I'm saying? Like there's no recent task that says like hello world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so at least getting that footer would be helpful so that you can click the conversation and see it inside of the web interface and see it in your list of recent chats.
Because then it would show up in recent chats because it's there. It's just not. It's just this is the recent chats isn't filtering in that correctly. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good observation that it's not there. It's a good observation that it's not there.
And I agreed. It's a little bit out of scope, but it's like kind of parlays into it just from user experience of like if they're going to expect any email to be able to be also viewable in the email. So you might fix it when you add it, and I just respond anyways, right?
Summarize the current progress of email as email is now replying when we expect it to. It is replying to and from the emails that we expect it to. So the core to and from is working. Overall, the message client is working. We are now working on how the email client integrates with handoffs from other modalities like web and like tasks, which is good. That means we're moving further to the edge. We're now in integrations and not on the core functionality. I challenge you to try to find anything that's more core in the conversations going back and forth in the email thread. That would be a higher priority than these external integrations. But for today, I'll focus on the external integrations so that by this time tomorrow, we'll have, when you trigger it from web, the emails that come from web will include the footer with the conversation, and then follow-ups will be able to have that conversational context to reply to. And the same thing with tasks. An email that is triggered from tasks, it'll include the footer with telling you can reply in the conversation ID. And then if you reply to that, it'll have the context of the previous messages. Other than that, I'm changing the email so that we don't ever see mail.recoupable.com. We always see at recoupable.com, and that is the current backlog. So if you see anything else, let me know.
I will let you know.
So I think in a middle term roadmap, the goal is to get it stable, fix these bugs that we see right now. And then once we have inbound messages handled, we start thinking about how do we want to proactively get into mailboxes. What do we want the experience to be to proactively send emails? I'm leaning towards that being a higher priority than moving on to SMS client, really getting this client together both on inbound and in proactive outbound messages.
I and in smartness of like when users like the prompting of it of like when user says this, like I found a lot of the time I'll say something and it'll email me back with like more questions than just doing what I want. And so like figuring out how we can get it to be a little smarter. It might also be just be like the model that we're choosing. It's like it's GPT-5 mini right now, right?
Could be that. That's true.
We might want to be able to give them the option to like pick their model. But I agree with you. Like the more we can nail mail, we can just copy that logic over to SMS, and it's kind of the same, you know, the same experience. It's just on a different different device.
Or if I think email makes sense to be building inside of the code base, I'm leaning more and more towards we want to make the email client itself a standalone code base. I'm thinking of it as it becomes an easy model, an easy article for me to write saying a lightweight email client for artists. Anybody can fork it, anybody can build on it. It's another thing for me to write out. And then if people want to fork specifically the email client and build on top of our email client, it makes it easier if we separate it out.
I agree. It's more modular and it allows us to also, like you said, like I was trying to figure out the Slack thing and you were like, build it into the API, but I feel like doing that, it's going to get a, like, so like, yeah, I agree. I mean, actually I question in that sense, like when you start SMS, are you going to start it as a separate repo or are you going to start it in API and then move it like you're doing now?
I'm gonna now that I'm leaning into this framework, once I build out the code base for the Recoup email, I'll do the same. Ideally, I'll then do the same thing and I'll start with a new code base for SMS. And
okay, so it's not like you're going to follow the same formula. You like you've learned and now you're like, all right, let's start with the end in mind, which is the okay, got it.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. Because I was just going to say if I start to go down the Slack route, I have in my notes to put it into the API, but now that we've kind of come to this conclusion, we should probably keep it as its own standalone client. And then just connect. Okay. All right, awesome. I'm getting another call, so I appreciate you, and I'll see you on Friday.
Thank you all for tuning in. We will see you on Friday.
Peace, peace.